Happy New Year! It is time for a new Catholic Cocktails, and we are here for this weekly video presentation of Salt and Light Catholic Radio in Boise. And it is the weekly program where we lift a glass and share a toast with some of our famous saints in the Catholic faith, based on this book behind me, Drinking with the Saints by Michael Foley.
So each week we introduce a saint and a drink of the week. We lay everything out right here, introduce what kind of items and glassware and all that you're going to need. Then we send it over to Teresa Zepeda, who's kind of our saint expert. And then she'll send it back to us. We'll have our bartenders make the drink, we try it, and talk about what we learned.
All right, well today we're going to learn all about Saint Elizabeth Ann Seton, and the cocktail that we're going to share with you is the Benedict Arnold. So we're going to see how the two
fit together.
Go together,
yes,
because it seems to be an odd combination, but it will all be revealed
but
in
alas.
the end.
Never fear.
So,
yeah.
what do we need?
Super simple cocktail. It's 2 ingredients, but as far as like glassware and hardware goes, you'll just need like an old-fashioned glass, a spoon, and some ice.
All right.
I think that's it.
Well, we'll find out how to make it on the other side of Teresa Zepeda, teaching us all about Saint Elizabeth Ann Seton.
On January 4th, we commemorate the feast of Saint Elizabeth Ann Seton, a wife, a mother, a widow, and a consecrated religious. She has the distinction of having many firsts related to her. For example, she was the first American-born person to be canonized a saint. She also opened the first American Catholic parish school. Indeed, she's considered the founder, along with her order, as being the establisher or the founder of the American parochial Catholic school system. She also established the first American orphanage and founded the first Native American religious community of women. However, one would not expect that when she was born for those to be part of her resume or her accomplishments. She was born August 28, 1774. Take note of that date. That was 2 years before America gained its independence. She was born into a prominent, wealthy Episcopalian family. Her mother, Catherine's father, was an Episcopalian rector in Staten Island. Her father, Richard, was a renowned teacher at King's College, which would later become Columbia College. He taught anatomy, and he was the first health director for New York City. But interestingly enough, he was also a loyalist during the American Revolution, and he was a surgeon for the British Redcoats who fought against Washington's militiamen. Elizabeth grew up with all the trappings of a wealthy family. When she was 19 or 20, she married the wealthy shipping merchant, William McGee Seton. They had a happy marriage, which produced 5 children. She also founded the Society for the Relief of Widows with Young Children, and she was given the title Protestant Sister of Charity. But sadly, misfortune would strike. William's shipping business went bankrupt due to the loss of a number of his ships during the war. But the worst of it was he contracted tuberculosis. And in an effort to remedy his illness, William, Elizabeth, and their eldest daughter traveled to Italy, hoping the warmer, sunny climate would alleviate his suffering. Unfortunately, he died not long after he arrived in Italy in December. Elizabeth stayed on until May, and she lived with a Catholic family, the Felici family. Their devout practice of their Catholic faith was an inspiration to her. When she returned to the United States, she made her profession of faith at St. Peter's in New York City. Her Episcopalian family was opposed to her conversion, and also her friends abandoned her. In order to support her family, she opened a school. However, the Protestant parents, learning of her conversion to Catholicism, withdrew their children. She tried other jobs and was contemplating a move to Canada where the economic situation would be better for her, when a priest in Baltimore invited her to found a school for young girls. That was in 1808. During this time, the school was hugely successful, and she gathered a group of like-minded women around her, and they were able to form a congregation of women, and she was a professed religious on March 25th, 1809. They also formed orphanages as well as taught in schools. The order was very successful, and at the time of her death, she already had 20 such schools opened. She died on January 4th, 1821, at the age of 46. Now, Drinking with the Saints suggests the cocktail, the Benedict Arnold. This is a poke at the fact that her parents were loyalists during the American Revolution.
Thank you so much, Teresa. Really appreciate that. Welcome back, everybody. Once again, we are at the Harp Irish Pub here in Meridian, and new year, new bartender. Joining us today, we have Mike. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yep, no problem.
So what are we going to be making today, Mike?
We're doing the Benedict Arnold. That's part of a little bit of scotch, the Benedictine liqueur.
Okay, and what can you tell us a little bit about the Benedictine, like the flavors or something like that?
It's a herbal liqueur, has like 27 herbs I think in it, but you can't really taste them. It has more of a sweet honey taste to it.
Okay, excellent. Alrighty, well, I'm going to step away and we're going to watch Mike make the Benedict Arnold.
Alrighty, making the Benedict Arnold. If you're lucky enough to have these big ice cubes, they really help. Gives it a little more ambiance and holds the ice a lot better. Start with 1.5 ounces of our house scotch here. And then we got 1/2 ounce of the Benedictine. And then you want to stir it up quite a bit. And there you go, Benedict Arnold.
Okay, here we go. The Benedict Arnold.
Thank you. I have a feeling this one's going to be very strong for me. I'm just putting it out there.
But where you like honey whiskey, I'm curious if that's the flavor that it's going to take on.
Yeah, it's very sweet. I thought it was going to
sweet.
be very bitter, but it's like syrupy sweet.
Huh.
But you can definitely taste the herbal essences in the Benedictine for sure. It's kind of like a mild allspice, like what allspice smells like.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay. It was a lot smoother than I thought it was going to be.
Winter is upon us. I think that would be something nice to warm you up from the inside.
True.
If you have that. So, all right. Elizabeth Ann Seton. She was a convert from the Episcopalian faith,
Yes.
which sometimes is referred to as Catholic Light.
True. Them and Lutherans.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was married to like some well-to-do trader guy, and his family, and they're all Episcopalian.
Yeah.
And then he died, and she met his Italian co-workers, right? Because he traveled all over the world.
Right.
And they actually introduced her to the faith. And so when she went home after somehow being with them, I don't remember all the details, but they then converted her to the faith.
Yeah. Now, those of you in the Catholic homeschooling world are very familiar with the Seton program.
Yes.
And this came from her?
I'm not sure about the exact history of the curriculum, but it is, I think, based upon a lot of her teaching principles. And
Very
it's also,
rigorous is from
yes,
what I've heard.
it's very intense. Like
Yeah.
the grading scale is a little bit different, and the requirements of the students are a little bit different. It is very much about like being prepared for college, and just excellent study habits. Yeah, you know, the bar is just up here instead of down here. So.
Were you a product of Seton schooling?
Yes, I did it for most of my homeschooling experience. So it was, we so lovingly called it Satan, but it worked out.
Elizabeth Ann Seton instead of Seton.
Oh, you did
Interesting.
Satan? I mean, Seton? Yeah, that's usually how that conversation went.
She also founded the order, the Sisters of Charity.
Yes, she's busy lady.
Man,
Which,
that's the thing about our saints is I don't know where they find the
I know
energy.
how, yeah. When I was learning about her the first time, I was confused as to how she like became a nun, because she had kids and was married and
Right.
whatever. But then I learned that like if your spouse dies, then you can enter. So I thought it was kind of interesting to think about like being the child of someone
nun?
who's in an actual religious order, like
Right.
not in the third order
Uh-huh.
of something, the lay order or whatever. So
Yeah.
that was something to think about.
And kind of an interesting twist about how there were some people in the family that were not very sympathetic to the
No.
revolution, so that's why the Benedict Arnold today.
It's kind of a little spice, a little
Yeah.
spice in their direction.
So hopefully St. Elizabeth Ann Seton has a bit of a sense of humor as we poke a little fun at the heritage of the family there.
Yes,
So
indeed. Well, I think that's it for today.
that is. So thanks for joining us for St. Elizabeth Ann Seton. Hopefully you learned a little something. Hopefully you like the drink. Leave some comments below and tell us what you think. Make sure you hit the thumbs up because the boss likes to see lots of those. And hit subscribe so you don't miss anything, right?
Yeah, please comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Instagram, Facebook, all the social medias. We will be here again next week, as you know. And we're going to be talking about St. Hilary and trying the Velvet Hammer cocktail.
Wow,
So-
Velvet Hammer. Can't wait to
Not
see
to be
what that's all
confused with the
about.
Velvet Frog. It's a lounge.
Something completely different.
That's, yeah.
So until then, St. Elizabeth Ann Seton,
Pray for us.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.